אשרי האיש אשר לא הלך בעצת רשעים, ובדרך חטאים לא עמד, ובמושב לצים לא ישב.
אשרי האיש אשר לא הלך בעצת רשעים, ובדרך חטאים לא עמד, ובמושב לצים לא ישב. Ashrei ha'ish, how blessed or how happy. Happy is a good translation, by the way, because it's not that God is imputing a specific supernatural blessing, but this is a wisdom notion in the Bible of how to get into the right sync with God's creation, whereby you'll find happiness and joy.
God above, sweet eternal love. God within, my sacred guardian. Oh, God within, steal my heart from sin.
One who does God. I'd like to look at the three terms for the wicked in verse 1 of Psalm 1, the three parallel terms. I find them very interesting. You'll notice that the verbs walk or follow, stand, and finally sit or dwell, these verbs are on the outside of the three clauses about the wicked, and nested in between are these words for the wicked: Reshaim, Chataim, and Leitzim. So we're going to be looking at these three terms, and I'm going to argue that the Hebrew in each case becomes more intensive, more focused. First we have the wicked, then we have the sinners or criminals, those who habitually miss the mark, and then finally the Leitzim, those who are arrogant opposers of God's will. Let's dive in closer. The first word for those who've got it wrong in life is Rasha, the wicked. Those are folks who are misaligned with righteousness, who have the wrong orientation in life. You don't want your path in life to stay very long in any proximity to theirs. The second word in the passage for those in the wrong is chata. Chata, that's the sinner. Here's a more intense way of getting life wrong, and now we've not just crossed paths with these people, but we're standing and associating ourselves with them. Not good. The chata is a criminal in God's eyes, one who's moved beyond simple orientation to the actual habitual practice of evil. Finally, worst of all, we've got the scorner, and we're not just associating with them, but we're actually going ahead and setting up camp with them. The scorner is not just sinning to their own profit and enjoyment, but they're actively opposing that which is good and righteous. Despite the English translation, the emphasis is not so much on nasty speech as it is on foolhardy arrogance. Now, if you're up for it, there's a really cool modern Russian painting that I'd like to look at as a way of reflecting further on the theology and spirituality of Psalm 1 and on the first verse. It's called The Meal of the Impious, or The Meal of the Wicked. It's a Russian painting by Vladimir Shinkarov. I'd like to look at the oil painting not so much as reflecting the complexities of Soviet life in the 1990s, but in relationship to Psalm 1, verse 1. Psalm 1, verse 1 contrasts the righteous and the wicked in stark terms, black and white terms. And you can see in this painting the same sort of dualism, the bright whites and then the dark shades, the obscuring of individual features so as to emphasize the typological. The danger for the psalmist is that her or his life walk will join up with those of the wicked. And that's what's happened in the painting. The newcomer to the left, who still has his bright color about him, is drawn in. And in Soviet culture, it would be rude to turn down the offer of a drink. But drinks can be dangerous in biblical culture. Too much drinking may bring a sense of common joy, but you get a hangover in the morning, and God doesn't have to intervene to cause that. Here, the white napkin against the black table almost looks like the man is sitting down to a piano to sing and enjoy the drinking. It's a big attraction that wickedness, scoffing, sin can have. The folly of those misaligned with God seems clear in the painting, however, in that the newcomer's tie, is that what it is, seems to morph into a crack in his head. Ouch, it foreshadows quite a bad outcome eventually. There's a tradition in Russian painting, of course, of depicting the Trinity as three figures sitting at table, famous icons along these lines. Here, we've got an impious Trinity, if you will, the meal of the impious or the wicked, as the artist titles the painting. So we've got the three figures in my reader response, the three figures in verse 1 of Psalm 1, the wicked, the sinner or the criminal, and the scoffer. Unfortunately, the newcomer to the left seems to have joined in this unholy or impious trinity. He's one of the three, which is exactly what Psalm 1 was hoping to avoid.